Hi, everyone. We have author Untamed here, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, you guys. I am author Untamed. I am from Georgia, originally a poet. If you can believe that, that is my first love. And decided to, try my hand at writing novels. And I have not looked back since. Poetry is still my first love. And I was been published since 2012. And I tell you, it's been a journey, and I have gone so far with it. Like I wouldn't even believe. And nowadays, and also with the books, I do screenwriting, ghostwriting. So I am just enjoying this literary experience.
Yes, and you're dropping books back to back, right? So how many published books do you have now?
I have 11 published books now.
Wow. And you're
Yeah.
self-published?
I am both. Actually, I'm traditionally published and self-published. I have the Never Again No More series and The View. Those are traditionally published. And then I have like the contract and the contract to Before Ever After, a few more others that are self-published.
Okay. And what was your first published book?
My first published book, now this is ironic, my first published book was Never Again No More. That book has been a journey for me because I came out under Indie Pub first. Then I switched from indie to self-published. Then I got picked up by traditional publishers. So it was technically my first book, and it has just been re-released a few times.
Okay. And did you change the cover each time?
Yes, the cover changed each time.
Okay. Okay. And tell us about that book. What is it about?
Never Again No More. The entire series follows four best friends. It's their journey from their youth. It picks up when they're in their early 20s. They were teen mothers, but now they're early 20s. They're trying to feel their way in life, being single mothers, being young women, and having these good and bad relationships with men. And also they have some family trauma that's going on with them. So it follows each one. And Sharice, she actually had triplets. Her triplets were by a NFL player who doesn't want to be a part of the kids' lives. And she's kind of just die hard in love with him. And that's her journey of going through the motions with him and just going through the motions of falling in and out of love and trying to figure it out, and she has a strong support in her family with her mom and dad. And it travels their story, which is very interesting because now I'm on part 3. And as you read, she does get another love interest. And it's somebody who her baby's father is very surprised about that it is. So it really starts to teeter on him because it bothers his psyche about who it is. And Lamika, she has 2 children. One is special needs. He has autism. And she's in an abusive relationship. And she's from a broken home where her mom put men first. So she has that dynamic going on with her. Lucinda, she's a single parent, kind of basically having to do it all on her own. Her mom has 7 other kids, and her daddy is off living his best life with his young wife and his new family. So she's trying to figure it out on her own. And she makes some mishaps along the way. What people love about her storyline is Spanish Fly, and I'll leave that at that. And then you also have Trinity. Trinity has 3 children, 2 by her previous baby's father, who was in prison, but it opens up, he's not been too long released. But she's in a relationship, a very dangerous and possessive relationship with a drug dealer, but they start off as friends because she's known him her whole life. So there's that dynamic, but both of those men are direly in love with her.
Okay. Now I know I read The View.
Yes.
Right. I love it. Absolutely love it. The first book that I was introduced by you from Patrice from Source of Knowledge Bookstore was your first book, your first baby. But
Yes.
The View, tell us about that's a 2-book series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For now, it's a 2-book series. It's actually 3rd book coming out, but I'm writing it right now. It is a 2-book series thus far. The View, it is so funny. You know, as an author, you get inspiration from everything. One of my friends posted a picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to write a book. It made me want to write a book. That's how The View began. I won't say it was born, but it began. So I really thought about the angle I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do more of an erotic romance, but I always want to have a storyline and a message behind the story. So the story bursts through a married couple named Michael and Carly. And on the outside, the surface, right, they tend to have a typical, very fluffy life, a great marriage. They just really seem like, the perfect couple. And when you start to dig into it, they have a few foundational cracks with communication and how they treat each other. And it's not a bad treatment, it's just over expectations. And so when you have those cracks, and Carly is a little younger than her husband, so she's still coming of age as well. And both with herself, within her marriage, with her career. And as she begins to elevate, Michael can't accept some of these growing pains that she's gone through, and it starts to cause a little ruckus in their marriage. And he finds out how bad of a ruckus it causes.
Yes, that's a great book. That's a five-star book for me.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. How long does it usually take you to finish writing?
Oh my gosh. Typically, on average, I would say about 6 months, because I really try to take my time with it and let the characters speak to me. And I pour so much into the characters that they take so much from me. So I have to give myself time to process. I laugh at myself with The View too, because people will not believe, like, I sat on 5 chapters for about 3 months. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Michael came to me and it was like, you're not about to do me like this, how you did me in part 1. And he went off in my head. And in 4 months, I had written the rest of the book. The book is over 300 pages. So mm-hmm. Yes. I was like, oh my, but I mean, I was in a zone. They were all talking to me and speaking to me. And ironically, it's not a book that I thought was going to be more than just one book. But after talking to the publisher and, revising the ending a little bit, I was like, okay, well, we'll see. And now these characters have made me just fall in love with them. They irk my nerves. Part 3 still talking to me. I was like, it just has been an unexpected love affair with this book.
Yes, yes. And what's your latest novels?
My latest one is Never Again, No More 3. That is the latest one. It is, I mean, this journey with these girls, I'll tell you the truth. Right now, part 3, the men are introduced as main characters. So for parts 1 and 2, you only get the female's perspective. Well, in part 3, you get all of their perspectives, like their main, guy. And so you get to know, as the reader, what all of them are thinking and doing while they don't know what each other is thinking and doing. And so it causes a little chaos. It's called Karma's Brew. There are some things, that the ladies got over. Because part 2 is called Getting Back to Me. So there's some things that they've overcome, and even the men, but in doing so, they have caused a little stir. And so part 3, they're brewing some things that they're going to have to, account for later on.
Okay. And out of all of your books, who's your favorite character?
Oh my gosh. I would say, I love all my characters. I have an affection for every last one of them, but I have to admit that my favorite characters to write are Hudson from The View and Pooch from Never Again, No More. Those two men take me to a different headspace when I write them, especially Pooch. Like, he is so far removed from anybody I know or any person I encounter. So when I write him, I fall into a true experience, and he is, that's my little my hood guy, from the book. So it's funny. I told my husband, I said, sometimes when I write, I have to decompress, because then I start talking to him like, like he's Pooch, or, and I'm in a relationship. Yeah. Like, what you want? He's like, wait a minute now.
I am not Pooch.
He's like, I'm not Pooch. Let these characters go.
And tell everyone where they can purchase your books.
They can purchase my books. They are available on my website, which is authoruntamed.card.co. That's CARRD.co. And also, all of them are available on Amazon as well. So you can get it there. It's available in paperback, ebook, Never Again No More 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, and 3. And The View Part 1, they are also available on audiobook. So if you're an audiobook listener, please pick it up. They did a phenomenal job. Wesley Sobian did Part 2. El Clevedon did The View. So those narrators are so hot right now.
Yes, they are. And we love audio. We love the audio versions too.
Yes. And if I could, I want to give a shout out to Miss Diane of Donna's Literary World, because she put me up in this hot sweatshirt for The View.
Nice. Oh, and tell us where we can find you on social media.
You can find me on social media. I have 2 Instagram pages for each book, which is The View The View by Untamed on Instagram, and also Never Again No More, the series, on Instagram. But if you want to just, find me and I talk back and have fun with you, I am on all social media. I'm on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse at Author Untamed.
Yes, I think I follow you everywhere, right?
Yes, you do. And I have fun. I love watching y'all's videos.
Thanks, same to you. Now, how do you think being a writer has helped you as a person?
I'll tell you, it helps me to gather my thoughts. It helps me calm myself and think before I speak and before I act. Also, it has given me an appreciation for everyone who is a creative and everyone in that space. And I'm not just, speaking about the literary community, but whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, because I know the grind and I know how hard it is, to get yourself out there and to promote while you're still trying to create, whatever you're doing for your business, and then actually run the business, because it is a business. I know people on the outside are like, oh, well, you're just right, but it's so much more than that. And it's like that for everyone who's an entrepreneur. It's so much more. So I have the utmost respect for everyone who is out there doing their entrepreneurial ventures, because I understand.
Yes. And do you have any tips for any aspiring authors?
I do. I would always say, now, it's okay to say you want to write for fun and you want to write for money, and that's good. If that's your goal, then be honest and upfront. But if you're saying that you want to be a writer because this is your passion and this is your ultimate goal, make sure that you are 100% invested in that dream. Study your craft, study the business of it, because you have so many people who, they gotta go into it blind without really, studying it and learning how it works. And that ends up hurting them in the end. And so they have to kind of reboot. So I always put that message out there first, because I want you to go into it with your best foot and your best head forward.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Are you a reader as well?
Absolutely. I love to read. Let me tell you something. I have to debate with myself sometimes, because I'll be writing and take a break and say, I'm just pick this book up and start reading. And then the next thing I know, I'm like, oh Lord, I gotta put this book down so I can go,
Yes.
so I can go do my writing stuff. But I absolutely love to read. I'm a fan of so many authors, and I support them dearly. I started a podcast because I wanted to give indie authors and newer authors, a platform where they can come and put their books and things out there. Because I know sometimes it's hard to get, onto these different platforms, especially when you're a newbie. And especially when, you're indie, it gets a little tedious to try. So I said, I'm going to start a podcast for us, so they can have their space to be able to grow their brand.
Yes. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your books?
Go and get these books, read them, leave a review. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I am Untamed, so I write in different genres, and that is the reason why I chose that pen name, because I didn't want to be pigeonholed to one thing. So if you like urban fiction, go pick up my Never Again No More series. It's urban fiction, a little bit of urban romance as well. If you like erotic romance, you can always pick up The View, Before Ever After, which is loosely based off of my real life story. And so yeah, I always say that with little sprinkles of my real life situation in that one. And also I write, urban action, urban crime thriller, which is basically like Boss Queens, The Stiletto Mafioso, which is one of my indie books, and the Contract series, which is only 2 parts. I co-authored those books as well with other authors, but they are phenomenal and they were so great to work with. I love those projects too. Nice.
Well, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. I thank you for having me. I'm glad to sit down with Sip and Flip.
Yes, and thank you for always supporting us. I really appreciate you.
You are so welcome. Anytime, always.
All right, everyone. That was author Untamed telling us about her books. Make sure you go out and purchase a copy. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos below.